גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, Cantor.
Hi, Rabbi.
It's lovely to be with you.
Oh, it's even lovelier to be with you.
Oh, I didn't know it was a competition.
It is very competitive.
So this week, Gabriel and I finished the first season of a new TV show, which is a very serious endeavor. We're watching For All Mankind. Has anyone watched that show? Okay, a few people. So it's 5 seasons, so it's a really big commitment, but we finished season 1 this week. It's a show that's kind of like this dystopian tale about what would have occurred if the Soviet Union had put the first man on the moon, and everything that would have transpired afterwards had the United States not been first. And I, after the first season, said something to Gabriel like, this is all revisionist history. Like, none of this is true. And he was like, that's kind of the whole point of the show. And it got me thinking about how many things could have been different if just a few things had changed in our history. Our world would be different, and we would all be different along with it. And how miraculous it is, actually, that we are all here. Not only in this world, but specifically here in this room today. What needed to happen in order for all of you to decide to be here tonight, to celebrate Shabbat in community? And there's actually so many new people here tonight, which leads me to think, actually, something really miraculous did happen here today that allowed so many new people, so many new faces to be here on Shabbat. There's something really beautiful about the miracle of togetherness, specifically on this particular day. And so I want to give us a moment just to turn around, turn to the sides, introduce ourselves to people we don't know, because it is quite a miracle that we all happen to be here on this Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm going to walk around and say hi to a few people. I'll be back.
Okay. Hello.
And to begin Shabbat, we do so by bringing light into our space. And clearly I'm feeling a little poetic tonight, so I want to invite up our poet laureate, Helene Cohn, to light the candles for us. She was talking, so I stressed her out, but now she's coming. It's amazing. This is what happens when you're talking for too long. The blessing over our candles is on page 2. I invite you to please join us.
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
We welcome the Sabbath spouse with Lachado D on page 20. We will be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on the 9th verse, I'll invite you to rise and face the doors in the back.
Give me a little bit of the tune. I've forgotten which Lachado D we're doing. Do you remember?
Is it Ya la 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 Lachado D?
Is that the one? That's the one then. Okay. La 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 Lachado D. What would I do
Ya
without
la
you?
la la ya la 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 likrat kala. It's a team sport. Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat dekabela.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Yishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad U'shmo echad L'shem u'tiferet ולתחילה. יאי לי לי, יא לה 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 לי לך דודי, יאי לי לי לי, יא לה 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 לי לקראת כלה. יא לה 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 לי פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם לסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Hitoreri, ki ba'orech kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
לי, 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 יאללה, לה, 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 לך דודי. לי, 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 יאללה, לה, 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 לקראת כלה. יאללה, לה, 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. Page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
We rise for our call to prayer, page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. On page 30, we come to Ma'ariv Aravim, our twilight prayer, which I've spoken about ad nauseum probably at this point. So many of you know that it's one of my favorite prayers in our Shabbat liturgy. I'm going to have us read together in the Hebrew, and then I'm going to have us read together in the English, because I think this prayer is so beautiful and poetic in the way it thanks God for the rising of the sun and the setting of the sun, the mixing of different moments together to create something new. We'll join together in the Hebrew, followed by the English. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach sha'arim, uvitfuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uben layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. It's a very important line. We have to do it twice. Transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. It's just good. It's really good. rise for Shema, our central prayer that reminds us to listen to the voice in our hearts.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם,
Adonai Elohim Emet. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Michamocha, our prayer for resilience, for fortitude, for freedom. Page 40.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורתי לו אוסף אלה, נורתי לו דוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע לפני משה ומרים, זאלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יביי ביי בים ביריבם, יביי ביי בים בם, יביי ביי בים ביריבם, יביי ביי בים bum, yai yai da da da, ba 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 bim bum, yai yai da 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 da, ba 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 bim bum. נאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Cantor Katzman, last
Rabbi.
week I skipped Vashamar by accident,
Oh,
and it's such a good one, and I wanted to let you know that I wasn't going to do that again.
okay, if that's the way you want to be. Okay.
Page 44.
34. Which one are we doing? Please give me the tune. Oh, yes. Okay. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת ויהי
As we approach our Amidah, some of us may fully be in a position to pray, and other people may still be holding on to that last email that was never sent before the work computer got closed today, or the cleaning job that needed to be done, or the errand that wasn't completed. We carry around with us a lot of stuff. And Shabbat is an opportunity to put that stuff down, even if just for a few minutes, to focus on who we are and what we need in this world. As we do the Shabbat Amidah tonight, I invite you to take 3 steps back and 3 steps forward, exiting the place that you came from to be here tonight and entering a place that is truly holy, that is truly yours. Even if it's just for the duration of the Amidah, an opportunity to really focus on who you are and what you need. We rise for our Amidah, page 46.
Lai, 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 lai.
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 Lai, 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 lai.
Lai, 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 lai.
Adonai.
Adonai.
Sifatai tiftach.
Sifatai tiftach.
Ufi yagi. Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We'll take the next few moments for silent prayer, silent meditation. This time is yours. Feel free to use the words in the book or focus on the words of your hearts. And when you are finished, you may be seated. Oh, say shalom bimroma, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Our thoughts turn now to those who are in need of refuat haguf, healing of body, refuat hanefesh, healing of spirit, or refuah shlema, a full and complete healing. If there's someone in your life who's in need of healing, I invite you to add their name to our list as my hand passes around the room so that we might pray for their collective healing. Our prayer for healing, Misha Berach, is on page 253. Please join us.
Misha Berach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzhak, veYaakov. Misha Berach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, 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 hear our prayer. Bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Misha Berach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzhak, veYaakov. Misha Berach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as one.
Shabbat Shalom. V'yedaber Moshe el Rashi Hamatot lifnei Yisrael lemor zeh hadavar asher tziva Adonai. Moses spoke to the heads of the Israelite tribes and said to them, "This is what Adonai has commanded." In Parshat Matot Maseh, the double Torah portion we read this week, Moses details the laws involving the nullification of vows, and specifically, the vows made by women. The text details the ancient law that a woman's vow can be nullified by her husband, provided that he does so immediately upon hearing of the vow. If, however, he delays in silence, her vow becomes forever bound to her. Further, if a husband offers no objection to his wife's vow at the moment in which he learns of it, that vow becomes forever bound to him as well. Of course, it is troubling that within our sacred texts, a man has power to override the vows of his wife, that he can nullify her personal or household commitments simply because he feels they should not stand. Our modern sensibilities call us to question this approach to marriage. A man should not have the ability to hold authority over his wife in this way. But if we are able to see this text as a reflection of its time, we might ask an additional question. Why does the Torah insist that the husband either use his power to nullify instantly or lose it forever? If he can nullify her oath, why can he not exercise that power whenever he chooses? What is the significance of the action being immediate? The Italian biblical commentator Sforno writes, "When someone who has the authority to cancel a vow keeps silent when they hear it, it is as if they have given their consent by not voicing their objection." Silence, as Sforno understands it, is tantamount to assent. Once the husband hears of his wife's vow, he becomes complicit in that vow. He can either object immediately, distancing himself from her words and thereby nullifying them, or remain silent, effectively linking them both to the vow forever. Last week, the Supreme Court finished up a very contentious term in which they ruled on polarizing issues including birthright citizenship, executive power, and transgender girls' participation in sports. I won't bore you with my personal assessment of each of the 164 court opinions that came out this year. But what I would like to discuss is a dynamic that played out amongst the justices, and specifically the most junior justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson. There has long been an idea called the freshman effect, in which newer justices remain timid for their first few years while getting their legal feet wet. But Justice Jackson has not succumbed to this reality. On the contrary, since her appointment in 2022, she has become one of the most outspoken voices on the bench. She is known for asking sharp and thorough questions during hearings, offering more dissenting opinions than any of the other justices, and even publicly criticizing the court for what she sees as unconstitutional or partisan decision-making. Over these past several terms, she has been particularly critical of the court's willingness to expand presidential powers, giving the executive the ability to, for example, fire heads of independent agencies or broad immunity for official actions. One of her most scathing dissents of the past few years was written in response to Trump v. Casa, in which a 6-3 majority limited the ability of lower courts to issue nationwide injunctions against the executive. In her dissent, Justice Jackson wrote, "What it means to have a system of government that is bounded by law is that everyone is constrained by the law, no exceptions. And for that to actually happen, courts must have the power to order everyone, including the executive, to follow the law. Full stop. To conclude otherwise is to endorse the creation of a zone of lawlessness within which the executive has the prerogative to take or leave the law as it wishes, and where individuals who would otherwise be entitled to the law's protection become subject to the executive's whims instead." This dissent was written in addition to the primary dissenting opinion by Justice Sonia Sotomayor, which Jackson herself had previously signed on to. But she felt so strongly that the Constitution was being obstructed by the majority in this case that it was incumbent upon her to raise her voice in addition, to use her First Amendment right and her fluency with the law to argue directly against the court and the executive that she saw as obstructing justice. Words directed, as Moses's were, at those who hold power. V'yedaber Moshe el Rashei Hamatot, when he spoke directly to the heads of the Israelite tribes. Moses Sofer, a Hungarian rabbi in the early 19th century, suggests that the Torah's discussion of vows and oaths in this week's parsha is addressed specifically al Rashei Hamatot, to the heads of the Israelite tribes, the leaders, because it is so often our leaders who most often fail to fulfill their promises and commitments, who need to be held accountable by others with the capacity and will to speak. The Babylonian Talmud goes further, teaching, whoever can protest against their household but does not is held responsible for the sins of their household. If they can protest against the people of their town but they do not, they are held responsible for the sins of their town. And if they can protest against the sins of the whole world but they do not, then they are responsible for the sins of the whole world. This practice of voicing a dissenting opinion does not come without risk, of course, especially when one is in the minority. It can harm personal relationships, hamper professional opportunities, and even, in some cases, result in physical violence. Yet it remains one of the most extraordinary tools in the Jewish and American legal framework, embodying freedom of expression, tolerance of minority views, allowing those who disagree to make their claims heard and have them recorded throughout history, even if they don't immediately result in formal policy change. I officiated a funeral earlier this week in which the family of the deceased remarked that their loved one had an unshakable ethical standard that he maintained throughout his life. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind, they said, and to share what he believed to be true in his heart. And it reminded me of a quote I had seen from Justice Jackson some time ago, who, when she was asked why she occasionally breaks from the other progressive judges on the bench to write her own concurrent dissenting opinion, she responded confidently, "I am not afraid to use my voice." Last week, I spoke about what it means to be a patriot in a time of derision, how after 250 years of independence, we are still being called to help our country reach its greatest potential. And this week, our Torah portion gives us the mechanism for achieving that most audacious dream. It's true that this parsha, like last week's parsha, featuring the daughters of Zelophehad, is marred by sexist language and patriarchal systems of authority. But between those truths is a reminder about our central and sacred responsibility to speak out against actions, behaviors, laws, and leaders that function in opposition to our values, even and perhaps especially from inside our own households. We cannot be afraid to use our voices, not now, and we must do so without delay. Because, as the great orator Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King once said, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Shabbat Shalom. We begin to conclude our service with Aleinu on page 282. I invite you in all the ways you are able to please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה,
שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. At this point in our service, our hearts and minds turn to those who have departed this earth just recently. Richard Stein, father of Katie Balson, Jose Correa, grandfather of Delilah Orizaba, Jack Bergstein, father of Cindy Bergstein, Bruce Mertz, husband of Lori Mertz, Vivian Rosengard, mother of Nancy Rosengard, Linda Joyce Weber Franco, mother of Casey Franco, and David Burrs, brother of Susie Burrs, as well as the yahrzeit of those, the anniversary of those deaths that occur on this Shabbat. Charles Royblatt, Daniel Mendelson, James Welsh, Kalman Steinloff, Sarah Harris, Sylvia Stabiner, William Barnett, Sandra Sterling, Sylvia Pulver, Thelma Davis, Lenore Silverman, Paul Goldman, Shirley Kersey, Jack Lewis, Buella Zipkin, Byron Price, Joel Goodman, Ann Englander, Jeremy Cohen, Yuzia Serrata, Melvin Hyman, Carol Hockman, Walter Salzman, Ms. Gloria Steiner, Lorraine Bloomberg, Pitsy Frainsblau, Mel Frankel, Sarah Jose, Dr. Lois Keith, Carolyn Unger, Jeffrey Levins, Lowell Zemnick, Henry Waters, Levi Galperin, Morton Wax, Merle Horowitz, Columbus Chambers Jr., Marion Levin Stone, Jarvis Franzblau, Alan Mayer, Rona Meisel Levin, Bertman Minor. If you are in a period of mourning, Shiva Shloshim Shana, or if there's just someone whose memory is weighing heavy on you tonight and you would like to add their name to our list of memory, as my hand passes around the room, please do so. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories forever be a blessing to us all. We rise as one community for Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish, on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam U'Lomei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Kudsha Brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da'amiram be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. B'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom mimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. Ose shalom bimroma, huyase shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imeru. Amen. You may be seated. A few announcements. This Saturday, July 18th, this coming Saturday, next Saturday, July 18th, we have Mindful Jewish Aging at 1 p.m. With to explore the spiritual gifts of life after 50, led by our amazing Cantor Katzman, as well as Deborah Paskind and Andy Simmons. On Tuesday, July 21st, the Nitzvah Circle with Women of Temple Sholom is meeting at 6 p.m. in person. So you can bring your crochet, your needlepoint, your knitting, or any other project and gather together in community to work on those. And then on July 26th, that is a Sunday, Temple Sholom is proud to be offering community outreach and collaboration, a walk for lymphoma, which will be taking place at Montrose Harbor Grove 16. That is on July 26th. We don't have a time there for that. I'm assuming that is on the website, and next week, hopefully we'll have a time for you for that walk. Cantor Katzman, will you lead us in the Kiddush on page 5?
I could do that.
That would be amazing.
Sure.
Please rise.
I should know it, but I'll find it in the book anyway.
Listen. It happens.
I'm listening.
I didn't have anything to say after. Listen.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. You may be seated. We're going to be concluding on page 330 with Ki Shmeira Shabbat, and then we will invite you to an oneg in the social hall afterwards.
330.
330.
Let me get there.
Or Adon Olam.
Okay, Adon Olam page, it's got to be in front of everything else. Page.
Do we have different cue sheets?
We may very well.
We might have. Okay, great.
It certainly couldn't have been my mistake.
It absolutely was not your mistake.
It absolutely
There are lots
was.
of people whose mistake it could be, but I
But
don't
not.
think it's yours.
No. Okay, Adon Olam is on page 321. So we're not going to sing all these verses because I'm not getting any younger. So, no,
you are
I'm
aging gracefully.
I am, but yeah.
Mindfully.
Try mindlessly. How about if we do the first and